Well, the shop tour update. The number one goal of our shop upgrade was to get organized. This back wall with this very old, largely unusable workbench. It was very rickety. I was kind of afraid to do much heavy-duty work on it to begin with. So it really just kind of became a catch-all for all of my woodworking junk. You can see my glue-up calls there in the middle of it with my mortising drill and my drill press there, but the disc sander. There's even an oven underneath the thing that I thought I was going to use if I got into some wood bending. But at the end of the day, this area became just a catch-all for a bunch of clutter. So here's the before. We knew we were going to take the bench apart, so we got all of the clutter off of it, and it was stored on the other two workbenches. And then we disassembled the top. Those brackets coming off of the wall actually left a couple of pretty good sized holes, so we got those patched. There's a close-up of the patchwork. We then taped and floated those. So the before, and then the number one goal being to get organized. And so the first thing that we did in order to get organized was to build this scrapwood storage bin. It's based on a design. It's not based on a design. It is from the design from Steve Ramsey, Woodworking for Mere Mortals YouTube channel. He built a really cool storage bin. I've still got some overflow. There's a bucket there and a recycle bin that's got some additional scrap lumber in it. And then my wood storage is just on the other side of the storage bin. But it's a very functional build. It was fun to build. A little bit challenging at times, but an outstanding design from Steve Ramsey. So thank you from one Steve to another. I appreciate the work that you're doing on YouTube, and keep up the good work. The next thing that we did in order to get organized was to get the bicycles out of the way. So we got them up on the ceiling. When I'm doing some work down on the far end of the bench, got to be careful for those handlebars. They will jump out and get you in the forehead. So if I'm doing a great deal of work the length of my large workbench, I'll just take the bicycles down and put them outside the garage door for the afternoon or whatnot. The next thing that we did to get organized was to get this large A-frame ladder up onto the ceiling. If you recall, this ladder previously was stored on that wall right there, right next to the refrigerator. It was hanging on the wall. I need that wall space available to me because I'm going to make a golf bag locker for my wife and her golf gear and my golf gear. And so I needed that space in order to be able to accomplish that. So this is based on a design from April Wilkerson's YouTube channel. Her design is a little bit different from how I actually wound up building mine, but the notion definitely was inspired by her build. The part where the head of the ladder goes in has a 1-inch PVC sleeve, and the brackets themselves are made out of 3/4-inch galvanized steel piping with galvanized steel flanges, securing them to a piece of cedar wood, which is very securely fastened to the floor joists above the garage. So very, very cool idea. There's the spot where the ladder was before, just above the golf bags and where all of those coolers are stored right now. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be able to do to really become highly organized in this area. I've got a couple of barbecue pits, one grill and one smoker on the other side of those sawhorses and that shop fan. So that's some storage space that I could use for some other things, but I'll have to build a shed in the back or something to put those in because I don't want to leave them outside. But that's just the area near the garage doors is where I put my large woodworking equipment. My bandsaw, as you can see there, the miter saw, the shop fox, my table saw. So not sure how organized I can become over there without really doing some serious woodworking. Garden gear became more organized, built a hanging unit in order to be able to store all of that. The other thing that we did to become more organized is I built this series of shelves. There are 4 shelves here. I can probably get 5 by putting one more shelf right there in that second to the top shelf. But just various knickknacks in there, some power tools, some long-term storage that are inside the bins. My tape storage is there just to the left, as you can see. So when I need some tape, I just tear off a little bit and go from there. If I need long-term usage, I'll just pull the roll of tape off of the string. But it's been pretty good so far. Here is the area that was the complete eyesore before. Yeah, there's a look at it. And here's where we are now. Still not quite as organized as I want it to be. You can see that the table saw and some other saw blades are on the countertop over there. There's a design that Jay Bates has out there for some saw blade storage that I think I'm going to use to build a saw blade storage area. But got a garbage can that's got some PVC scrap in it and some other wood scraps over there on the top of the workbench that I need to get organized. But it is a far cry from what we had here before, which was an absolute disaster area. So much more organized. The big beefy workbench has remained largely the same. It's just a little more organized underneath. I've gotten rid of a lot of the things that I just don't use. Got some extension cords and my leaf blower, a power hedge clipper, some wood putty, and other things under there. But that workbench probably going to stay for the most part the same. The next thing that we did in order to get organized is to do some clamp storage. If you recall, the clamps were actually clamped to this shelf on this workbench, which made the shelf essentially unusable for storage other than the clamps. And so we did some clamp storage up here in this corner, and we've got the pipe clamps up top, all of our 3/4 inch, the shorter pipe clamps. We've got a lot of long black pipe that is over near the wood storage area for really long glue ups, and then the smaller bar clamps are down below. The last thing that we did in order to get a little bit more organized on in the shop was to build this Rubo style workbench. I knew I wanted a bench top that would be dedicated to holding my my mortising machine, my drill press, and my disc sander, and so this is the build that I did. It's inspired by a build from David Barron. From David Barron Furniture, who has an excellent YouTube channel. I highly recommend that you give him a visit. He's got some great recommendations and some great ideas on dovetailing and other types of woodworking inspirations. And this is what inspired me to build this bench. And the really neat part of it that you saw there just a moment ago was how the leg segues into the tabletop. It's got a dovetail, which is aproned on the outside by a piece that's wood that's screwed and glued to the tabletop, but then you can see that there is some black walnut wedges that actually wedge the leg to the tabletop as well. So it really, and it's a beast of a bench. It weighs about 200 pounds, just that size. It's only 6 feet by 2 feet, but it is still a hefty chunk of wood that takes 2 people to move. But really neat piece. I enjoyed making it. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and some of my family members are chagrined that it looks more like a piece of fine furniture than a workbench, and they can't believe that I've got woodworking tools on top of it. But that's the shop tour. The next build is for those golf clubs right over there. It will be a golf bag locker or a golf bag cabinet, whatever you want to call it, but it's going to go right there next to the refrigerator, which is why we needed to get that ladder out of the way so that we could put that golf bag storage unit right there. It's going to be about 6 feet by 4 feet by 2 feet to 2.5 feet, something like that. And it's going to go there to help keep the golf equipment from getting quite so dusty in the shop. So until then, happy woodworking. Thanks for watching.